we're happiest when we're making progress. So if you have something you want to do or goal and you feel like you're making progress on it, you just feel happier. Like when
Yeah.
I have a night where I go to bed and I got nothing done that day, I'm like miserable. I'm like, shit, how did I let this day go by?
Welcome to the Wayfinder Show with Louis Hernandez, where guests discuss the why and how of making changes that led them down a more authentic path or allowed them to level up in some area of their life. Our goal is to dig deep and provide not only knowledge, but actionable advice to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Come join us and find the way to your dream life. Welcome back to the Wayfinder Show. I'm your host, Louis Hernandez, and today's guest is Bill Zujewski. Bill, also known as Bill Z. Bill is
Yes.
the yeah, he is the founder of Good Life LLC, creator of Life by Design, the Life by Design system, and the Zen Score app. And he's also the author of What's Your Life Score? After a successful career in tech with companies like Oracle and Tulip, Bill shifted to his focus to helping people live with purpose and balance. His life score system, based on 8 key life areas, guides people to design a life that's intentional and not accidental. Bill, welcome to the Wayfinder Show.
Thank you, Louise. I'm psyched to be here. Should be a great show.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. And we're also, yeah, I love having people from back home. As our listeners know, I'm from Rhode Island and you're from right next door in Massachusetts. It's good to
Yeah,
have.
I'm right outside of Boston, big Boston sports fan, got three boys. We're lucky. It's a great sports town.
It really is, man. It's
Yeah.
you don't realize it till you leave, like how
Yeah.
spoiled
How
we are.
spoiled we are. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go somewhere, and you can go other places I've lived now can go for decades without a goodie, and then you always have a good team in Boston. That,
And not to pile on, but I'm also a UConn grad. So my UConn
oh
Huskies
yeah,
are a strong basketball program as well. So I'm pretty spoiled.
they came back. Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember they were like a dominant force, and then they went for many years without really competing, but now they're back in full force, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Bill, tell us. I'm gonna start a little bit different.
Mm,
You were in the corporate world
yeah.
and you left to create the good life.
Yeah.
So that kind of insinuates that the corporate world is not the good life. Tell us why you did this.
Yeah. So for 25 plus years, I had the corporate job. I was fortunate to land in software right out of college, which was lucky in that I had some skills around programming, analytics, and it's a great place to be the last 25 years, right? Software is eating the world. So I did well there and was able to have a nice balanced life, raise my family and stuff, but something was still missing. So I really wanted to do something that was mine, but also gave me more financial freedom and more, actually, I should take that time freedom to do whatever I want, right? And to work with whoever I wanted and hire the people I wanted. And that was part of changing. I met a couple friends about 7 years ago. They were starting this green business bureau startup and they needed marketing help. I said, you know what? I'm done with kind of managing 70 people and $1 million operational budgets. Let's do something fresh and new. We did that Green Business Bureau startup, sold that a few years ago. Now I'm doing my own. I bootstrapped this Good Life, the Good Life company. I'm the 100% owner. It's a software company that's just going to help people get good at life because life's hard. And I've created some software tools, mobile apps to help people.
Okay. What does that mean to be good at life, though? It sounds
Yeah,
like you were good at it. You had a great career, and
yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah, so good at life, right? So I think obviously it's becoming healthy, happy, fulfilled, all those things that you think of someone living the good life and maybe financially independent as well, all those things. So for me, it came down to not just balance, because when people think balance, they think, okay, work and non-work. I'm really talking about a bigger pie. Some people call it the wheel of life. I actually have this acronym in my book and in my software called Help Grow, based on the 8 categories. So you're looking at your health, you're looking at your environment, the E, L for leisure, P for purpose, G for growth, R for relationships, O for occupation, W for wealth. Those are the 8 areas you want to invest in time. So you want to get good in wealth. There's 15 things I documented. Save 10% of your paycheck, have an IRA, have a six month rainy day fund, stay divert. Like, and then if you want to have,
Can you, I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
can you go through those again real quick? Wealth.
Yeah, let's go through it. Help grow. So spell out, you could on your pad, spell out help, HELPGRW.
Oh, help grow.
H is for health, E for environment, leisure is L, P for purpose. So that's the help part. And then G for growth, R for relationships, O for occupation, and W is for wealth. And it's fun. I go back 20 years. I used to create a little spreadsheet in December around New Year's and look back at those 8 areas. How did I do last year with my relationships, with my career, with my wealth? And what do I want to do next year? So it became a little routine for me to do this like scorecard. And that's what turned into my company. I've now built a software version of a life score.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting there. So I'm assuming like family would fall under relationships,
Yes.
clearly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, relationships is the most important factor in a healthy, long life. Some of my core framework is based on this book called The Good Life from these two Harvard professors. I don't know if you heard about the study they did of these 3,000 families over
Yeah.
8 years. And by far, the biggest indicator of happiness, fulfillment, in a longer life by 10 years was the people around you. Your
Yeah.
partner, your family, and your friends in your circle. If you had the right people around you, you outlived and were much healthier.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that? A couple of weeks back, I was at the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting
Oh,
with,
yeah.
and where Warren Buffett said he's stepping down. So it's his last annual meeting.
Yeah.
And I've been going for years. I go every year. And this one was what really stood out more than anything to me was
Hmm.
just this. Just that he just kept talking over and over about his relationships in life and how important that is. And if you find somebody good that in your life, you hold on to them and develop that as much as possible. And he said that he just kept saying that over and over, like that is real wealth. That is really the good life, more than
Yeah.
anything. Here's a guy who sits up there, drinks 2 cans of Coke,
Yeah.
goes and eats a Big Mac on the way home, and
Yeah.
health he doesn't define that way. It's all about his relationships.
I know, and he's a testament. So, two things on Warren Buffett because I'm a big fan. I
Yeah.
listened. I've never been in person, so that's amazing. But I look at him, and I'm like, holy shit, the guy's 95 and still with it. Like,
Yeah.
I got another 30, 40 good years in me. I
Mhm.
can't just retire and do nothing for the next 30 something years. But he has my best quote for him, and I use it in my book, is we talk about how would you measure success in someone's life? And he says the best indicator at the end of your life is how many people love you. That's brilliant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that to me, that tells you what kind of life a person had.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's powerful. There's so
Yeah.
many great quotes that come from him.
Yeah, no, I
That,
know.
that
Smart,
sums it up
smart guy.
well.
That's why he's
Yeah.
a billionaire. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about it. I think everybody gets drawn to him because he takes these big concepts and breaks them down so in such digestible ways with these quotes that you can write a book of them. There have been many,
Yeah.
but I think at the end of the day, that's why we all go to this, and we think we're going to learn how to be rich, right? In a financial way. But
Right.
then you're here and you realize you leave there at the end of the weekend and you just feel so wholesome and
Yeah.
good and hardly learned anything about wealth building in a finance. It really does become number one about the relationships.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always kept going back. Just people I met years ago, go there once a year, see them again, and that relationship gets bigger and stronger and we invest together and what have you and it just compounds like what he talks about and it just naturally organically it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. It is amazing. And people say, "Oh, you have your personal life and your work life." Some of my best friends are people I work with over the years, or they
Yeah,
be friends. You want to work with people you like, no doubt.
totally.
He does. He loves the people around him, and if
Yeah,
he did, they'd be out of there.
100%. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's not a lot of people he works with either, which is really shocking. With all of the companies that Berkshire owns, I think it's over 700,000 employees I've read. And in his corporate office is 12 people.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't he still drive a Honda or something stupid like that too? It's
I
like
don't know. We went to his
big
house and
house for
looked.
12 years.
We went to his house and we did look through, and I'm trying to remember what the cars that were there were, but they definitely weren't like Bentleys or anything very
Yeah.
fancy.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Low,
was a lot of guards watching
low key
the people
guy.
there, but
Low
yeah,
key guy.
that weekend it gets bombarded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what about so clearly you have that as number one, and kudos to you. Obviously, if the Oracle of Omaha says that, then you guys are in full alignment, which says a lot about you. But what about what would you say is the most neglected?
Let's see. Probably everyone spends way too much on their wealth part and their career part. I think unfortunately health, especially for the younger people, is neglected. They just take it for granted. As you get older, you can't. You have to, unless you're healthy and have energy, you can't, life sucks, right? So you got to
Yeah.
take care of that. And people don't realize how they either have the wrong diet, don't have their heart's not in good condition, they're overweight, and that leads into spill over into poor performance in all these other areas in your life. So I would say don't forget about your health. Start there,
Hmm.
right? I now, because I'm older, I'm in my 50s, so I got my routine. I do my stretch, I
Yeah.
do cardio on the Peloton bike, I do some
Nice.
weights, right? And it helps burn off stress, by the way, but also gets the blood flowing and energy going.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you next about environment, but it leads into before that with health. I find that having lived in different parts of the country now and just being a student of communities and societies and what have you, I feel like the emphasis on health can often vary based on like where you live, right? Like here
Yeah.
in America, in general, I think we have much less emphasis on health. It's all quick fix in general. But then even within America, we have areas of the country that are just so much less attuned to health concerns.
Couldn't agree more. I think the stereotype, unfortunately, the fat Americans when you go travel in Europe is you go
Totally.
here and it's healthy, small portions, healthy food, not processed. It's not that they eat differently, but they eat healthier.
Definitely.
So that's part of their just fabric in a lot of countries, and it's not here,
Yeah.
for sure.
I've given this little testimonial before where a couple years now I went to Japan and I remember I hadn't had a burger in months because I was training for something and finally I had one after my event there and it felt great. It was delicious, absolutely delicious. I could have, as an American, I wanted more, right?
Yeah.
But I did. I had one and it tasted great, felt great, the whole nine. Then I get back and I land in LAX to transfer back to Denver. And at LAX, there was one of those foo-foo gourmet burger places. And I go and I'm like, oh, another burger. I want one. And I first of all, I paid 5 times as much as I paid in Japan. But
Yeah.
then I get it, and the grease is falling off the bun and dripping
Yeah.
down my fingers. And I have, and within a half an hour of eating it, I just felt like crap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that right there goes to show you just the difference.
I agree.
It's it's
I
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Consumerism, it's what it takes to drive sales. So they drive the advertising of these products and
right.
you crave them and they're delicious. They're not good for you.
No, and you can feel it now. So
Yeah.
especially as we get older, you feel it right away. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about environment. What does that mean?
So it's actually home environment because,
Okay.
but that would kill my help grow spelling, right? I needed that E, so I went with home environment. But your home, you spend so much time at home, right? If you don't have a place to relax, to unwind, where you feel safe, or where you could entertain your friends, and or maybe you're living in a place where like you're in Denver, and I mean, that's beautiful country there, right? And
Yeah.
you chose to live there. Like some people are miserable where they live, it's too
Right.
cold, or so there's a lot of elements to the environment. It starts with your house, your commute, your weather, and then how you take care of your home. Like clutter, you go into some houses, like we're really anal in my house. Like we love having it very clean because it doesn't bog down the mind of things to do.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of best practices really around just having a comfortable, relaxing home that you love. It's part of life.
Yeah.
One of one of the eight slices.
Yeah, that's good. I also notice you have a distinction between purpose and occupation. And
Hmm.
it caught my eye because I think a lot of us, especially as Americans, we define ourselves by our occupation.
Yeah,
It almost becomes our purpose.
right.
And so it shows you're a very deep thinker in this to distinguish the two. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, sure. I think in your 20s, I think maybe that should be your purpose, right? You're just starting out. You need to build a career and expertise, and so that's fine. But then for me, it quickly flipped to my wife and then my family. Like my family got me out of bed in the morning because I was so excited to do stuff that would contribute to a great family life, right? Taking them on vacation and paying for their tuitions and all. So that became my purpose. And now I've launched four kids, and I feel like I just want to. I've been really lucky. I just want to give back now, help other people who need help. I'm mentoring probably like a dozen 20-year-olds that have been interns for me or my
Oh,
kids.
great.
So now purpose has become giving back to people. I donate to causes. There's so many people who haven't, I've been pretty healthy, but things like cancer and MS, I don't mind trying to give back for those things. So I think purpose evolves as you get older.
Hmm.
And for me, it's now more about service, giving back.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a good differentiation. It's almost like you align your purpose with what season you are in life,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And these kids I'm coaching that are young professionals, I'm like, you're in sales and marketing. It's your purpose is to make sure your company kills it because if you guys don't do well as a company, people are getting laid off. Like you guys are all
Yeah.
in it together and paying each other's bills. So your purpose is to create a great company that creates amazing jobs and lets everyone have the life they want. So it's even in doing your job with excellence, there's purpose in that when you're younger. I wouldn't take that away from people for sure.
Okay. So you mentioned you have a score for all of these. How does that scoring system
Yeah,
work?
yeah, there's two scores actually, too.
Okay.
So, so the first score takes 2 minutes. I'll send you the app, and it's called the Zen score. It's how you feel about your life. So it goes a little beyond help. And to your point, it breaks relationships into romance and friendships, and it breaks a growth into like mindset and growth. So there's 11 questions. How do you feel about your health and fitness? How do you feel about your home environment? How do you feel about your career? And 0 to 10. And then at the end of it, it spits out a score between 0 and 100. And that's your Zen score. How you
Okay.
feel about your area. And you may have a one in one area and eights in all the other. And it makes you self reflect. Holy shit, I got to work on this part of my life based on my score. So that's the Zen score.
Okay.
The life score is like a credit rating. It's how you're doing, right? So I've documented, an AI helped me do this last year. I sucked in about 100 books, research reports, science data on what do people do for best practices to have a great leisure, have a great home, have their finances under control, right? And said, here's the things that people who are successful in each of these areas are doing. So
Oh,
then you go through these 100 questions. Are you doing these things? And it spits out a score between 0 and 1,000, which I call your life score, like your credit rating. So if it's 500, 600, you're like, oh shit, I'm not doing a lot of the things I should be doing.
yeah. Oh, interesting. And now
Yeah.
you said earlier on in your life you did something like this for yourself before it was probably a conscious system, right? That every
Yeah.
year?
Yeah. It's the engineer in me, right? So
Yeah.
I software design and I had a Google spreadsheet for 20 plus years. I think it was Excel to start actually. And I had 12 rows. And over time, every year I would go and see my scores of those 11 questions I have. I think I had 13. I think I broke out my finances and net worth and debt. And so I had a little different scorecard than I have now. But I stopped and filled it out every year in December. And then I look back last year what my score was. And then I'm like, what do I want to get to? I'm like, I meant to spend more time with my brother and sister, and I visited them like once all year. Holy shit, I got to give myself a three for family. And now I'm thinking, okay, I got to go visit them at least two, three times this upcoming year. Again, it just creates a convenient framework. I find as an engineer, you need to have kind of mental models of things. So I created this mental model of a personal scorecard, like a company has a dashboard,
Yeah.
sales, service. Like, why not have a dashboard for your life? That's what I'm thinking.
I love it. And it sounds pretty simple to do too, right?
Oh my God, the
So,
Zen score takes 2 minutes. Yeah, it's
yeah.
11 questions.
And I'm guessing after all this, then you can start to set a plan of action
Yeah, yeah.
for what you're going to do to improve your scores, right?
Yeah, and I'll put on my entrepreneur hat for a second. So when I launched it a year ago, I thought I was going to go direct to consumer. Like people need help, and life coaches are expensive. Like it's the big fad, and I believe in coaches. It's great to learn from someone who's done what you want to do, but I wanted another tool that people can use for self-care. But then I started getting coaches downloading and using it and said, oh, it's a great engagement tool. I have my client fill out their Zen score and Vibe score, and then we meet to kick off for coffee and we go through their score and
Hmm.
identify where they're strong, where they're weak, and what to work on. So now I have two markets, direct and now selling it to coaches.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
helped. Yeah, we've had a lot of life coaches on the show in the past, and I know a bunch as well. And it seems a lot of them create a system or looking to create a system, and they're not sure exactly how to go about it and gets tweaked. And it sounds like, yeah, why not just take one that's already like yours, that's
Yeah,
there and it
no,
works and it's good.
spread the
Yeah.
word for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I've probably talked to 20 coaches over the last 2 months because I'm trying to create big believer if you're going to build a product, the customer has to love it. Like it's
Mhm.
not enough to have a decent product. If they don't love it and they can't live without it, then I failed. So I've been interviewing these coaches, and the one debate we're having is they seem to take a more of a guide approach, help you find yourself and find the answers, right? And for me, I'm like, actually, you could create a playbook. Like I have the 12 things that Warren Buffett does in wealth area that you should be doing to have a strong financial area in your life. So I am almost flipping the category from coach to like advisor, like life
Mhm.
advisor.
Mhm.
You got to pay your credit card every month. I can't believe you don't have a 529 for your kids. It could be tax deductible. Like a coach should be in a position to prescribe these are the things that are really going to help you in all eight of these areas of your life, right?
Yeah.
You should go do cardio 3 times a week or walk every day and not sit in your chair for 2 straight hours. These are things we know cause stress and bad posture. And so I am confident that I've worked hard to say, hey, it's 119 things that will help you get good at life across those eight categories.
Do you think if there's somebody, especially, I think somewhere in like our mid to late 20s, oftentimes we, it's pretty common to start to feel stuck, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And for many people, that can even happen like throughout their adulthood moving forward, right? Because this is really when you're dealing up until probably when you're done with college, you've had your life defined for you, right? So you didn't have to, you just knew how to put one foot in front of the other. And now you have
yeah,
to figure out which way to go. So do you think that this could help somebody with that to help
for
them
sure.
feel
For
Yeah.
sure. First of all, and I don't know this yet, I haven't proven it out, but I have a thesis that younger generation loves points and scores.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I could see them saying, oh, geez, my Zen score is a 61. How do I get to an 80? So I think I could help gamify this a little
Yeah.
and just get off the wheel where they're just reacting every day, showing up for work, doing this and getting a routine, and just stop and think, why am I in a rut? What are you doing for fun in your life, man? What are your interests outside of work? Where are you going for vacation? What are you doing for social activities? Stop. Those things are important. And if you're not also enjoying life, then what's the purpose of life, right?
Right.
So some of these people who feel stuck or lost are need to just think about the other areas. And then their friendships. Oh my gosh. If you can't share what you have with friends, what's the purpose of life?
Totally.
I have a great house, but if it was just me, who cares? If I
Hmm.
can't have people come and enjoy it with me, entertain, watch games, like
Hmm.
it's all interrelated, Luis. It's all this puzzle of pieces that I believe in that you have to pay attention to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point,
Yeah.
and I completely agree.
So I hope this younger generation could use it like a scorecard. And there's some other, I'm looking at other apps that are, I don't know if you use like any of the calm or meditation
Yeah.
apps,
Yeah, I've used them.
the sleep apps.
Mm.
Like all these apps are popping up around tracking streaks and all that. And people
Yeah.
seem to like that they give them a little impetus to change or create new habits. So that's what I'm trying to do is come up with. Mine's more holistic. Those are like little slices of life.
Hmm.
Mine's like saying, whoa, here's how you can look at your whole life in a kind of a little score.
Sure. Yeah, I do think that we are in a society now where everything is becoming gamified like that, and it is with apps and such. It is easy to measure. Yeah, now I even find people when I ask them on the Wayfinder 4 about, you'll get the question later, what's a favorite, and they'll talk about books, and they're telling me how many hours of reading they do or how many books they read because they can look at it on their app. And so in running, we have an app called Strava, and it tracks all of your miles that you do every year and it compares them, and everything is gamified. Now, I also think that where it's causing, I can't prove this. I know there's stuff coming out around this. I also think that it's almost gone to the extreme opposite where it's causing some folks mental anguish with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think our attention spans are getting lost because of it. Everything on an app gives you small nuggets. So we're so used to just getting the quick and dirty on everything that we're
Right.
no longer able to focus and concentrate. I'm struggling with reading a book.
I
And
know.
I love reading, but I'm really struggling getting through a whole book
Yeah. All
nowadays.
right. So I'll tell you what frustrates me, and this is the downside. A couple things on having a phone, all that information in your hand all the time. First of all, you're always on. Oh my God, there's no
Right.
downtime anymore. You're commuting to work on a train, you're on your phone. You're at the airport, you're on your phone.
That's right.
You're in bed, you're on your phone. Like,
Yeah.
oh, at some point you gotta, whoa, leave some just dead time to do nothing. But the attention span, my one of my first study groups for my mobile app was my four kids on Thanksgiving last year. And so we're sitting there and we're like 6 minutes into it. And they're like, Dad, how many more questions are there? It's 15 minutes, guys. Come on. We're
Yeah.
on like question 37. And they're already like, they want to move on to something else. And then we're watching TV. Oh my God. What there 7 times during this movie, I had to rewind. What just happened? I missed it. Yeah, you missed it because you're on your phone while we're all
That's right.
watching the movie. There's definitely some downside that I see from being connected to your phone. Like,
Yeah. And I'm guilty of it. But I'm becoming so much more conscious of it that I'm getting to the point where I don't think I can do it. It's bad for
yeah,
my business, but I feel
yeah.
like I just want to go back to the old flip phone without everything.
I'm guilty.
And
I can't say I'm not checking scores of while I'm watching a game or looking at stocks or something.
right.
I feel I could still consume a movie and get information. I
Yeah,
know you're right. It's like crazy.
it is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, on that note, I think we should switch over to our world famous Wayfinder 4. You
All
ready?
right. I am ready. Fire. I'm on the Bud Light hot seat here, whatever they call it.
That's right. So give us a hack. This is just like a life hack that you use. Obviously, your system's a life hack, so you can't use that one.
Oh, damn, damn it. That's what. All right. I have another hack that's part of my app, but that I've been doing for 20 years as well. It's a little Blue Monday list. So when you have those days where don't want to get out of bed, like you're down, you're stressed, or you're overwhelmed, or you're just not feeling motivated, I have this little notepad that has these 25 questions. Is it because I feel out of shape? Did I do something, get an argument with my wife? Or is the stock market down? I try to troubleshoot exactly maybe the two or three things that are making me feel overwhelmed or bothered or just not happy and relaxed in life. So I call it, and now it's actually in my app now. It's called this life stressors tool. So you track what are the life stresses in your life. Because until Stress is not about working hard. Stress to me is about knowing you have problems and doing nothing about them.
Yes.
And so if you can figure out what's causing it, and as soon as you start doing something about it, oh my God, you start feeling better about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my life hack.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like to relate that towards when you hike up a mountain. Oftentimes you start at the trailhead and you look at the top and you're like, "Oh my God, you're so overwhelmed," and it makes you not want to do it, but you
Yeah,
move forward and somehow you have no idea how you're going to get there.
yeah,
And sometimes you don't even know how you're going to get like to the 10 feet ahead because you can't see the trail or something, but you keep going and the
yeah,
path presents itself, right? And then before you know it, you got to the top and just such
yeah,
a great feeling of accomplishment. But
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's actually one of my philosophies in life is we're happiest when we're making progress.
Yeah.
So if you have something you want to do or goal and you feel like you're making progress on it, you just feel happier. Like
Yeah.
when I have a night where I go to bed and I got nothing done that day, I'm like miserable. I'm like, shit, how did I let this day go by? But
Yeah.
I got something done. I made some progress on something. I feel
Yeah.
better. Feel
And
better.
oftentimes, even achieving the goal that is not as rewarding as the progress towards it, all the
Yeah,
little
it's the
obstacles
journey.
along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about a favorite? I alluded to this one earlier. This is a show, an activity, a book, anything you want that is just a
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. And so you're a little younger than me. You remember Cheers,
Of
George Clooney?
course. I'm not much younger than you.
Yeah, all right. I've been looking at some of those because Norm just died
Yeah.
this. Oh
Oh,
my God.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, how funny he was with his one-liners.
Yeah.
You know, it's a dog eat dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear. Like that was one of his lines.
Yeah.
Uh, so I love that show. I still watch Seinfeld, and what's crazy,
Yeah.
that stood the test of time. My kids and I watch Seinfeld now, and they love that. So those are probably two of my favorite shows. Even they stood the test of time.
Yeah, that's funny. My daughter loves shows from our generation,
Yeah,
and she Cheers is right up there, and Seinfeld. The guy Seinfeld is just genius, really.
that was
Yeah.
yeah.
So, what about a piece of advice for your younger self?
Younger self. I think I was a little bit two things. Probably a little over ambitious and spent too much time in my younger years and didn't really create enough really close friendships. My parents were immigrants, and so they never really taught me. And you really almost have to know how to invest to create, listen, reciprocate, support. And so sometimes I'm jealous where some of my friends have these blood brothers, and sometimes I don't feel like I have enough of those around me because I didn't invest in creating those kind of amazing friendships. I wish I had more of those from my younger days.
Yeah. Did you grow up in Grafton too, or
Connecticut, Shelton,
Con-
Connecticut. Yeah,
Shelton, Connecticut? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Where is Shelton? Just
It's the last town in Fairfield County, so near Bridgeport,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Haven, right in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
New England, I asked because New England is such like a region of villages, essentially. Every town is really like a village, and people have these really tight relationships. And oftentimes people don't even move too much.
There's a lot of ethnic communities.
Big time.
You go to New Britain, Connecticut, and it's Polish community. There's thousands of
Yeah,
Polish. You go to Boston, and you could have little Italy and little Ireland here, and
that's right.
it's amazing how the culture is preserved in pockets here in New England for sure.
Yeah, totally. And where I grew up is Central Falls, Rhode Island. There's a big Colombian community, and that's where I am. So my
Colombian,
parents are immigrants
yeah,
from there too. Yeah.
yeah, and then I think there's an Armenian pocket in that way.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of my best friends was half Armenian, half Syrian. Yeah.
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 Again, we're creatures of nature, right? We like to socialize with our own tribe,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
That's funny. How about talk about either one of these, however it resonates with you, either a big opportunity or a limiting belief.
yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna go with. I know this sounds trendy, but I'm seeing two sides of the coin on AI. I'm seeing people who are super skeptical, afraid, saying, "Oh, I heard it's super inaccurate," and I am the opposite. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I use it 2, 3 hours a day. I know I've crossed this threshold where I used to go to Google." 10, 20 times a day. And now I think I go to ChatGPT 10, 20 times a day. I
Yeah,
mean, I get an agreement that I got to analyze and I'm no lawyer and I just put it in there and say, hey, give me the gist of this agreement. I need an email. Like I'll write down 4 bullets and it'll write. I mean, my productivity from AI, I think is through the roof. So this stuff is not hype. I think it is changing the world for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm doing the same thing. I'm buying a property out in Illinois right now. It's a different type of asset than I've ever had, and it's a different jurisdiction I've been in, and I've been reaching out to lawyers. And the contract I just put out, put it on ChatGPT, see what I get. And these lawyers are taking days to get back to me on
I know.
anything. And when they do, it's more even more days to review all that stuff. But I kept going because I'm so used to that. And what ChatGPT, I didn't want to trust it because but I put it in there and it spit back, hey, this is what to look for in this contract. You might want to go back and go all this different advice.
Yeah.
And I even and finally the one lawyer who got back to me, I go through that with him, not knowing he doesn't know I use ChatGPT. He agreed on all the points. Some of the stuff that he missed, I brought up to him. He said, "Oh yeah, that's interesting." You know what I mean? All
Yeah.
these things, and I'm like, wow. So the people who are afraid of disruption,
Yeah.
it's because they're not adapting. If they
No,
don't adapt and use it, they will lose because we don't have the time. We're in a society. If we snooze, we lose. So we have to
I
adapt these things. Yeah.
totally agree. Now, one thing, my last little thing that I'll mention is I am a 4 days a week company, and I just totally believe that we can get more done Monday through Thursday, be more efficient, deep work, and have more balance in our life and have Fridays off. There's such
Yeah.
diminishing Friday. So we don't have any employee meetings. You basically use Friday for your family home or catch up on email. If you're behind at work, use it for catch up. But I bring it up only because now you can be more efficient Monday through Thursday with AI. Get more done.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to hear this from somebody from New England because I think about the work ethic there is always just work. And
Oh, I
moving
know.
out west, it's been this way. People don't work here on Fridays for them. They
I
can say they,
know. Yeah,
and now it's good to hear somebody back east saying the same
I'm
thing again.
trying. I'm
So,
trying.
yeah.
Personally, I don't want to work Fridays anymore. I'm at a point in my life where
You don't have to.
I don't have to, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to. And
Nice.
and other societies around the world are proving you can still be a good, strong country and economy, Italy, Spain, working 35 hours a week and not there's balance. There's like we talked about the diet. It's the same with the family cultures in other places of the world. Family is more important. They
100%.
some people measure success by how good of a father or mother or family man they were, not by how much money they made. So
Exactly.
yeah, so it's a different world. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to bring some of that here to New England.
Yeah. Good. Good. How about, yeah, I guess at this point, if people want to know a little bit more about you, maybe get their Zen score, their life score, how could they go about doing
Yeah,
that?
first of all, it's easy to find me. Zujewski, Zujewski. There's only 30 of us in the whole world.
Okay.
I warn my kids, be careful what you put out on social media because when they Google you, you're going to be the only answer that comes up. So goodlife.com with two is my website. Look for Bill Zajewski on LinkedIn, DM me, connect me. And then if you go to Amazon and just type in Zajewski, you'll get the only book written by a Zajewski is What's Your Life Score on Amazon. And Bill at goodlife.com. That's my email. That's the ways to get a hold of me.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill. I love how you've broken it down. I think you got your priorities straight and you got a good system for helping other people do the same. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that. And I hope people go check it out.
We hope you've enjoyed the Wayfinder Show. If you got value from this episode, please take a few seconds to leave us a 5-star rating and review. This will allow us to help more people find their way to live more authentic and exciting lives. We'll catch you on the next episode.